Hello everyone, welcome to Biophilia, your all-time study mate. Today we are going to start a new chapter of class 12 named Environmental Issues. So if you appreciate the efforts, do like, share and subscribe to our amazing channel Biophilia. So as we all know, our environment is facing many issues and usme se the major issue is nothing but pollution. So it is very important to understand the environmental issues with pollution. So pollution is nothing but any sort of undesirable change. This undesirable change can be either in the form of physical, chemical or any biological characteristics that is occurring either in air, वाटर, लैंड और सॉइल. तो कहीं पे भी अगर कोई गंदगी हो रही है, if there is any undesirable change that is not natural, is nothing but pollution. So pollution किस वजह से होता है? It is because of some agents that are going to bring this undesirable change. So these agents which are going to give rise to undesirable changes, these are called as pollutants. So now you know about pollution and what are the causing agents, that is called as pollutants. अब ये पोल्यूशन जो स्प्रेड हो रहा था डे बाय डे, पीपल वर गेटिंग वरीड अबाउट इट. सो वाज द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. So government of India had passed a very important act that is called as Environment Protection Act. This Environment Protection Act of 1986 was having a major aim for protection and improvement of the quality of our environment. And when you say environment, we mean collectively for air, water and soil. So overall 360-degree protection to the environment must be given so that we protect and improve the quality of our environment. So let's see all these pollutions in detail and how can we solve the problems to save our environment. So first we are going to speak about air pollution. So air pollution is nothing but, as we know, that there can be occurrence or presence of any material or gas, क्योंकि air है, so air is majorly gas, and materials because there can be some suspended particular matter, so that is going to be harmful to the man as well as vegetation. So plants are involved, animals are involved and their surrounding environment is also harmed. Because of that, there is going to be air pollution. Now this air pollution can be both, that is natural as well as anthropogenic. Now natural, that can be because of any earthquakes या कहीं पे forest fire लग गई है, all those reasons are contributing to natural air pollution. But anthropogenic, that is originating because of human activity. If the pollution is rising because of human activity, that would be called as anthropogenic cause of air pollution. So air pollutants are going to be the primary pollutants which are going to come directly from the pollution source. So these primary pollutants के नाम क्या क्या है? It is going to be carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide and hydrocarbons. So this is the four air pollutants which are going to come under the classification of primary air pollutants. Next होता है secondary air pollutants. So secondary air pollutants are going to be the source coming from the reaction. So when two or more primary air pollutants are reacting, they are forming the secondary air pollutants which include ozone and PAN. So what is this PAN? PAN is the short form of peroxyacetyl nitrate. So what is it? It is peroxyacetyl nitrate, which is going to be a secondary air pollutant. So as we have understood the introduction of air pollution, now let's get ahead. So now let's see what are the causes of this air pollution. So causes, my first cause is going to be because of the industries which are releasing a lot of smoke. So this can come either from the thermal power plants, the smelters wherein the ores are converted into metals, or any other industry which is releasing particulate matter or is releasing gaseous pollutants. So when these gaseous pollutants and particulate matters are going to be released along with the harmless gases, that is harmless gases like nitrogen and oxygen. So इसके साथ जब ये harmful substances are released, that are the cause of air pollution. Second reason can be the pollutants from automobiles. So your two-wheeler vehicles, four-wheeler vehicles, those who are running on the roads, they are producing some amount of gas. So these gases, the smoke produced is going to cause the air pollution. So not only the vehicles which are on the road but also the aircrafts. So the exhausts which are there, जैसे kitchen के exhausts होते हैं, even those exhausts are going to be the major part of air pollutants. Next is going to be either incomplete or complete combustion of carbon components. So carbon components जैसे hydrocarbons होते हैं, like the fossil fuels, the petrol, the diesel, the coal, wood, जो भी burn हो रहा है, all that is going to produce carbon monoxide. Majorly carbon monoxide is present when there is incomplete combustion. Then carbon dioxide and even sulfur dioxide is going to be released in the combustion of these carbon components. Next is going to be the natural sources. So ऊपर जो 3 points हमने देखे, that was generally because of human activities. So that was anthropogenic causes. But even there are natural causes which can contribute to air pollution, that is included in the natural sources, like pollen, dust, smoke which is coming out from the forest fires. So forest fires, जब heat बढ़ जाती है on the earth, there is a chances that the dried leaves catch fire. So when these catch fire, there is a huge burning in the forest, that is forest fires. So again there is combustion, burning, that is going to emit some smoke. Even there are volcanic eruptions. So volcanic eruptions के बाद when the lava cools down, there is some ash left out which is going to flow with the air, and when it starts flowing here and there, there is going to be the source of air pollution. So not only natural, but there are also many human activities that are contributing to the causes of air pollution. So now let's discuss about some gaseous pollutants. So major air pollutant is under the gaseous pollutant, that is carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide का source क्या होता है? Source is going to be the incomplete combustion of fossil fuels. So whenever there is partial combustion of carbon in presence of lesser oxygen, there is going to be release of carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide जब भी release होगा into the atmosphere, the human beings and animals have a tendency to inhale this carbon monoxide, and whenever the carbon monoxide is inhaled, it is going to attach to hemoglobin. So hemoglobin से attach होने पे carboxy hemoglobin बनेगा, and because of that the O2 capacity is going to decrease, and with O2 capacity decreased, your body starts suffering. But in case of plants, there is no such adverse effect seen because of carbon monoxide. Second pollutant आता है, that is sulfur dioxide. Now this sulfur dioxide is going to get emitted from the oil refineries. Oil refineries में sulfur को use करते हैं, even in smelters wherein the ores are converted into metals. So in that case also there is going to be release of sulfur dioxide. Now once this sulfur dioxide is released in the air, there can be causes of acid rains, because this sulfur dioxide is going to dissolve in the rains, in the clouds, and cause acid rains. Now, once acid rains have been reaching the Earth's surface, there is going to be stone cancer, then eye cancers, there are going to be severe respiratory problems when the sulfur dioxide is going to be inhaled. And one of the major problems, that is yellowing of Taj Mahal, is also because of sulfur dioxide, as well as this is going to be a very important MCQ, because what is the cause of yellowing of Taj Mahal? So that is going to be sulfur dioxide. Now also a very important point to connect, that is sulfur dioxide जब concentration बढ़ जाती है in the atmosphere, there is going to be phyophytization in lichens. That is the lichens का जो photosynthetic part है, it is going to get inactivated, and when it is inactivated, the lichens are going to die. So indirectly you can say that whenever there is absence of lichens, you can say that the sulfur dioxide pollution has been occurring in that particular area. So that is one of the important characteristics that you can understand for the sulfur dioxide pollution. So these were the two important MCQs about lichen disappearance and Taj Mahal yellowing. Next pollutant is going to be NOx. Now X can vary depending its value for 1, 2, so on. So the sources of these nitrogen oxides is going to be the combustion of fossil fuels at high temperatures. So whenever at high temperatures these nitrogen oxides are oxidized, they are going to be released in the atmosphere, and this can cause various heart and lung problems when it is inhaled by the animals as well as human beings. So again, that is a very dangerous pollutant. And last of these gaseous pollutants are the hydrocarbons. Now these hydrocarbons are released because of unburned discharge. जब कोई coal अगर burn नहीं हो रहा है properly because of less oxygen available, in that condition all those ashes are going to get moved into the air, and that is going to cause this gaseous pollution. Even in the case of newly manufactured carpets, जब carpet बनते हैं in the factories, even in those areas hydrocarbons are released, and these hydrocarbons are going to be a cause of cancer spread. So you can see that how gaseous pollutants are going to affect and what are its sources. Now let's understand about the particulate pollutants. So particulate pollutants are going to be added into the air by the industries, by automobiles or the operations. Now these operations are various type of activities like blasting. कहीं पे tunnels बनाने हैं, you are going to blast that particular hill or mountain. In that condition, the stones or small particles are going to get dispersed into the air. Because of drilling, crushing, grinding, mixing, all those activities are going to produce some or the other sized particles, and these particles are going to freely move into the air and be the particulate pollutants. So now these particles can be compared in two ways, that is the first, the settleable or the suspended particulate pollutants. So settleable particulate pollutants are going to have a specific size that is more or equal to 10 micrometer. If the size range comes into this particular range, then it is going to be a settleable particulate pollutant. अगर ये type का pollutant है, it is going to settle out in less than a day. That means it will not freely move into the air for a longer time. It will settle down and cause less problems. But suspended particulate pollutants is a major problem because of its small size, that is less or equal to 10 micrometer. उसके small size की वजह से they do not settle and they will remain in air for weeks, and when they remain in the air they are going to cause problem for a longer period of time. Now for these particulate pollutions and all those things, the Central Pollution Control Board, that is CPCB, has been suggesting that the particulate size of 2.5 micrometer is going to be the responsible for causing the greatest harm. So that is again nothing but coming under the range of suspended particulate pollutants. So this is a very important MCQ, that which body has been suggesting for 2.5 micrometer pollution. So that was Central Pollution Control Board. So even this can be asked for full form or expanding the short. All those kind of questions can be asked from this particular topic. Then if these small size particulate material have been inhaled, what is going to happen? They will go and sit deep into the lungs, and once they enter your lungs, there are going to be breathing and respiratory problems, and once this occurs, you are going to suffer from irritation, inflammation, and finally there is damage to the lungs. और ये छोटे बच्चों में भी देखा जाता है that there are premature deaths, and because of premature deaths there is again population problems as well. So everything is linked because of pollution. Now we spoke everything about pollution, its causes and its effects and all those things. But now what is our duty? Our duty is to control this particular air pollution. So what are the ways by which we can control this pollution? So the first is going to be by electrostatic precipitator. Now this is a device which is going to be installed, and it can be helpful to control the air pollution. So we'll see about these methods in detail after one by one. Next is going to be the scrubber. Again, it is a device which we're going to discuss. Next is use of lead-free petrol or diesel. And the last is catalytic converters. So now these are the four topics that we need to see in detail. So first is electrostatic precipitator. Now this electrostatic precipitator is going to be a device. अब ये device जो है, it claims that it can remove over 99% of the particular matter. Now once the suspended particular matter has been removed from the exhaust of the thermal power plant, indirectly the concentration of this particular matter is going to decrease in the atmosphere. So now let's see how does it actually work. So there are going to be electrode wires, so current carrying wires होंगे. So these are electrode wires which are maintained at thousands of volts. So this thousands of volt is a great energy. So because of that there is going to be a produce of corona, and this is going to be released through the electrodes which are going to give the negative charge to the air particles. So ये जो electrons release होते हैं because of those high voltage, they are going to stick to the dust particles. So अभी जो dust particles है, these dust particles are going to have negative charge. Now once this negatively charged dust particle have been made, what is going to happen? There are going to be collecting plates. Now these collecting plates are going to attract the charged dust particles, and the particular matter is going to be settled down. So you can see in the diagram कि जब there is discharge of electrons, the electrons are going to stick onto the dust particles, and once that happens there is going to be collection onto the plates, and once that happens the clean air is released out of the exhaust. So this is a very important device that is made mandatory for all thermal power plants to use before releasing their dirty air. So one very important thing about this electrostatic precipitator is going to be the velocity of the air. Now you imagine कि अगर ये हवा का जो the air that is flowing out, if it is moving at a very fast rate, what is going to happen? There is going to be lesser time for the electrons to stick onto those particles. So for that reason the velocity of the air should be slow enough that the dust particles can actually get connected to the electrons, and again they can be attracted by the charged plates. So all those things need time so that the velocity should be slow enough. So here you can see that how these are going to get stuck to the different charged plates. So now let's see about the second device, that is scrubber. Now this scrubber is going to be used by those industries who produce the sulfur dioxide. So sulfur dioxide जिन भी companies का by product होता है, they need this scrubber to be installed. Now how does actually work? It is going to work as जो effluents है, all those slurry that is going to have sulfur dioxide is going to be passed through a slurry of water and crushed limestone. Now water and crushed limestone एक paste जैसा substance बनाएंगे, that is nothing but of CaCO3. Now this CaCO3 when is going to react with the sulfur dioxide is going to produce CaSO4. Now this CaSO4 is going to get precipitate and then that is going to be collected separately. जिसकी वजह से क्या होगा, whenever the industries are releasing sulfur dioxide, that sulfur dioxide instead of going into the air, it is going to chemically react and settle down at that particular station. So the chemical reaction goes in such way that calcium carbonate and sulfur dioxide reacts to release calcium sulfate and carbon dioxide. So comparatively, if you compare about sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide is less harmful. So releasing carbon dioxide is a better way than releasing the sulfur dioxide. So in this world of bhagdod ke zindagi, each and every person do have some or the other source of automobiles, and because of these many automobiles running onto the roads, it has become the major source of atmospheric pollution. So along with the maintenance of the automobiles, people should also understand the need of use of lead free petrol and diesel. अगर lead free petrol or diesel use करते हो, that is going to reduce the pollutants that it is going to emit, and once that is controlled, the automatic pollution level is going to decrease. Now why to use lead free petrol or diesel? Because lead is the causative agents for many problems in humans as well as other animals. So lead has been resulting in mental retardation in children as well. So that can be the reason why people are encouraging to use lead free petrol and diesel. Now let's see about the next device, that is catalytic converters. Now these catalytic converters are going to be made up of costly metals. अब ये costly metals होते हैं platinum, palladium along with the rhodium working as catalysts. Now these catalysts have a work of converting these hydrocarbons which are unburnt. अब ये unburnt hydrocarbons को oxidize करके they need to convert it into a form of either carbon dioxide and water. So if carbon monoxide is released because of incomplete combustion, it needs to be oxidized into its lesser harmful state, that is carbon dioxide. So this process which needs to be done, that is oxidation, is going to be done with the help of these catalysts. Similarly, in the case of catalytic converters, they can have hydrocarbons which are converted into water and carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is also going to be converted into carbon dioxide. Then nitrogen oxides are going to be converted into nitrogen gas. So that was the thing that the catalytic converters are made for. So automobiles need to be fit with these catalytic converters, and catalytic converters जब fit होते हैं near the exhaust of the automobiles, it is very important and essential to understand that the person with this catalytic converter automobile should not use leaded petrol or diesel. If it is using leaded petrol or the petrol or diesel having lead in it, what is going to happen? It is going to inactivate the catalyst, and once the catalyst is inactivated, the conversion or the oxidation is not going to be possible. So it is very important to remember कि जब भी catalytic converters होते हैं, there should not be any use of leaded fuels. Now, because of this rising air pollution, the government of India had passed an Air Act, that is Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981, which had a major deal with the prevention of air quality, ताकि और pollution बढ़ने की वजह से the air quality does not suffer, and also the control of air pollution and the detrimental effects of these air pollutants either on human health as well as the biological world. So there was a whole 360-degree coverage regarding air pollution. Now this Air Pollution Act or the Air Act 1981, it had a major amendment. This amendment was done in 1987, wherein the noise was also recognized as an air pollutant. So जोर जोर से आवाजें करना is also regarded as an air pollutant, and this amendment was done in 1987. So now let's understand about this noise, which has been a newly added air pollutant. Now what is this noise pollution? This noise pollution is going to be because of noise. Now what is noise? Noise can be any unwanted sounds. Now these unwanted sounds are going to be dumped into the atmosphere and are going to disturb the unwilling ears. Ears do not want to listen to these noises, but still because they are dumped, they are heard by the people. अब ये noise जो होता है, it is going to be calculated or expressed in a unit called as decibel. Now this decibel is going to be understood for the noise pollution. Now any value which is more than 80 decibels is going to be the cause of noise pollution. Now noise becomes unbearable at 140 decibel. Intensity of normal conversation can be about 30 to 60 decibels. Now these are few values which are going to be asked in the sort of MCQs for your exam. Next is going to be about the sources of noise pollution. Now sources can be various, like it can be natural or it can be man-made. If you are understanding about natural, then thundering sounds during rainy seasons. So thunder जब गिरती है, there is a loud sound that is being produced. So even that can be a natural source of noise pollution. Man-made are many. There are many annoying and damaging sounds because of the industries. There can be defense material sounds, that is rocket launching, the tanks moving onto the war zones, or there can be entertainment sources. For entertainment sources, किसी की शादी बारात, there are loudspeakers, parties, they are having loudspeakers, people play loud radios. All those things, along with the transport automobiles honking onto the roads, all those are going to contribute to the source of man-made noise pollution. Now what can be the effects onto this noise pollution? Effects can be as if there is a longer exposure to this highly irritating high level sounds, what is going to happen? There can be permanent ear damage. Eardrums can get permanently damaged, and because of that there can be impairing hearing ability. Hearing ability can be disturbed because of these high level sounds. Now high level sounds, how much in decimals? It is going to be 150 decimals or more. So more than 150 decibels, which can be like understood by the sound of taking off by a jet plane or a rocket. So जो rocket का sound है या jet plane का take off sound है, that can be near about 150 decibels. So that sounds can actually damage your eardrums, or damage of eardrums is nothing but it is going to permanently impair your hearing ability. Second is going to be, अगर बहुत आवाज है, it is not going to allow you to sleep smoothly. What is going to happen? Sleepiness is going to be decreased. There is going to be increased heart beating. So you must have seen this type of phenomena when you are in front of a loudspeaker. Your heart vibrates or beats more rapidly. So that is nothing but increased heart beating. There is going to be altered breathing patterns because your mind is not going to be stable. There are going to be stress because of these noises, and that can be the effects of this noise pollution. Now, how can you reduce this noise pollution? For reducing noise pollution, you need good sound absorbing materials. Sound absorbing materials hai, in that case the reduction of noise pollution can be done. Now there should be some level of sound to be permitted. So permission for crackers, loudspeakers should be given up to a certain limit, which can help to reduce noise pollution. There should be horn-free zones. Now, horn-free zones around hospitals, around schools, when there are sick patients, students are studying where they need peace of mind. All those areas there should be horn-free zones. Then, along with a natural solution, it can be reducing noise pollution, that is to have a green muffler scheme. Now this is a scheme which has been undergone into the Parliament of India. So Parliament are going to have various trees of neem and ashoka, which are going to be as a good absorbent of sound vibrations. So because of these trees planted, there is going to be a great extent reduction of the noise. So you can imagine in mid of the country, that is Delhi, the parliament is going to have a peace of mind because of this green muffler scheme. Again, you can help people or the industrial workers with the use of earplugs and ear muffs, which is going to reduce the sound that is entering into the ears. So these are some of the methods which can help to reduce noise pollution. There are many more, and if you follow these, then surely we can have a success over reduction of noise pollution. Now let's see a real case study about air pollution that happened in our own capital of a country, that is Delhi. So Delhi is going to have more cars being the capital with comparison to the sum of cars in Gujarat and West Bengal. So अगर ये दोनों states के भी car साथ में ला दिए जाए, still Delhi is going to have a more car population. Now, because of these many cars running onto the roads day and night, pollution level had been increased so much that it was ranked fourth among the 41 most polluted cities. And this ranking was given in 1990s, and that was not a very happy sign for Delhi because it was ranked fourth for the most polluted cities. अब ये खुश होने की बात नहीं है. People had to work for this to reduce the pollution and cut off their name from the most polluted cities. So what was the action taken against this? The public interest litigation was passed in the Supreme Court of India for the air pollution problem, and because of this PIL that was filed, the government of Delhi had to change the entire fleet of public transport. The buses that used to run for the public, that was switched over from the diesel working models to the CNG. अब ये diesel में जो चलती थी, the old buses, they used to emit a lot of gases, and because of that the pollution levels had risen. But with the greener and cleaner fuel, that is CNG, the pollution levels was comparatively decreased by the end of 2002. So that was a very good step that had been taken by the government by changing the public transport. Now let's see about a small topic, that is acid rain. Now this acid rain is an invisible threat. Now why is it invisible? Because you cannot understand what the raindrops are falling are either acidic or not. So you cannot see how dangerous those raindrops can be. Now acid rain was the term that was given by Robert Angus. अभी acid rain क्या होता है? Acid rain is going to be a rainfall with a lesser pH than 5.65. So again this is a very important point to remember that can be asked in MCQs कि कितने pH के रेंज पे rainfall can be called acid rain. So it is going to be less than 5.65. Now, why this acid rain is going to occur? This acid rain is going to have oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. So that is the contribution of the various type of components, that is 60 to 70% of H2SO4 and about 30 to 40% of HNO3. Because of this, the acid rain is going to be produced. Now the acid rain is going to be how working, that is when the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are going to be released into the atmosphere, they are going to go up into the atmosphere and get attached to the clouds. अब side by side जब cloud formation होता है, what is going to happen? These gaseous and particulate pollutants are going to get combined with the clouds, and once the clouds are going to burst in the rainy seasons, what is going to happen? The wet acid rain, that is all those gases which have been attached with the water molecules to form a wet acid, is going to drop down in the form of acid rains. Acid, either it can be rain, it can be fog, it can be snow. In every form of water, this acid is going to come down, and once it comes down onto the surface of the earth, there is going to be problems onto the surface. There is going to be release of aluminium from the surface of the soil. All those minerals and all those elements are going to leach down, वो सारे soil में से नीचे चले जाएंगे. They are going to go deep into the soil, and unfortunately the plants will not get those minerals to survive. And once that happens, again the cycle is going to be disturbed, and in some cases there can be direct contact of those gases of sulfur dioxide or nitrogen oxides when the wind is blowing, and once the wind blows, these acidic gases are also going to go along with these winds. So that would be called as a dry acid decomposition, whereas when it is combined with the water droplets, it will be wet acid decomposition. Now what are going to be the effects of this acid rain? So first is going to be damage the foliage, that is the acid rain hogi, the trees are going to suffer, the leaves are going to suffer, and all those growing plants. So in a way the vegetation is going to get affected. It is going to cause leaching, that is all those minerals and elements are going to go deep into the soil, and once they go deep into the soil, there is going to be shortage and the plants are going to suffer. Again there is going to be release of aluminium in the soil, and whenever it is going to reach the nearest water body, because पानी जब बारिश का पानी soil पे जमा हो जाता है, other way it is going to flow and reach the nearest water body, and whenever those released aluminium reaches the water body, it is going to be toxic to the fishes. So in a way it is also affecting the aquatic life. Now acid rain is also going to damage or corrode the metals, the marbles में ताज महल भी आता है. Again ताज महल is getting damaged because of acid rains, as we saw in the previous slides that SO2 was damaging or was the cause of yellowing of Taj Mahal. That can also be seen in the case of acid rain, when the painted surfaces are going to go dirty, and all those stuff that is happening is called as a stone leprosy. Again, the same reputation, that is Taj Mahal is threatened because of this acid decomposition, and this is our heritage to preserve our Taj Mahal. Now one more small topic, that is smog. Now what is smog? Smog is nothing but a combination of two words, that is smoke plus fog. Smoke plus fog gives rise to smog. Now what is this smog? It is going to be a opaque or a dark fog having dust, water vapors and gases. So that is nothing but smog. Now smog होते हैं दो types के. First, that is a photochemical smog, and second, that is London smog or the classical smog. Now let's see about photochemical smog. Photochemical smog जो होता है, that is going to occur in the places where there is traffic congestion. ट्रैफिक की वजह से जो स्मोक रिलीज होता है, that is going to be contributing into the photochemical smog. Now, this photochemical smog is particularly found in places where there is warmth in the atmosphere as well as intense radiation is present. Now, with this, there is going to be involvement of ozone, PAN, that is polyacetyl nitrate, and nitrogen oxides. Now when these all gases are going to get attached to with the smoke released by the congested cities automobiles, they are going to be found as brown air. अब ये जो brown air है, उसी की वजह से it is being identified as photochemical smog. अब सोलर रेडिएशंस इतने इंटेंस होते हैं that it becomes the brown air if in case the solar radiations are lesser in quantity comparatively, then it is the gray air. Now photochemical smog was found in Los Angeles, and because of Los Angeles it was found, it is also called as Los Angeles smog or LA smog. Now next, that is London smog or the classical smog. Now this London smog occurs at a lower temperature. ऐसी countries में होता है wherein there is low temperature. Majorly it is going to contain H2S and SO2. So you need to understand the difference, that can be asked as MCQ. So if there is secondary pollutants as ozone or PAN or nitrogen oxide, then what type of smog it is. So you should understand that it is photochemical smog. और it can be also asked that low temperature zones में कैसे type का smog produce होता है, then it is going to be the London or the classical smog. So these kind of comparative questions you need to understand so that you can do well in the MCQs. Now the London smog or the classical smog needs the environment which is reducing. Now why reducing environment? Because hydrogen sulfide is going to be the reducing agent, and because of that it is a reducing environment. Along with it, it is going to have a dark brown color. अब इसमें very important to understand, there is no involvement of a secondary pollutant. So secondary pollutants, that is ozone, PAN, that is involved in the photochemical smog, not in London smog. अब ये जो लंदन स्मॉग है, when did it arrive? It had been about in 1952 because of industrial revolution that was occurring in England. So because of that, this London smog had been first observed. So with this, we have come to an end of our part 1 regarding air pollution. We will come back soon with one more amazing session to continue this chapter. Until then, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Keep smiling, keep studying hard. Meet you in the next video. Till then, thank you.